What's up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here on Bulls on Wall Street. Monster runner in the markets today. Not much else to say. We had a 2-day dip. Things look like maybe it could get shaky. The good old bull market showed why it's a bull market. And we gapped up today, and we were off to the races. Beyond just the indexes being up quite a bit today, a big day on the indexes, individual stocks were firing across the board. It was a round robin. There were very few stocks that did not participate. You saw spec money, big caps, small caps, all of it going through. Even stuff like, AEO that the Trumpster tweeted about. That's when Trumpster makes a tweet and that follows through and people don't try to short the shit out of it. Like that. That's that's your telltale sign that things are working today. So if you look at the overall indexes, things are looking pretty good. We remounted the 20 SMA. We remounted the 9. What else can you do, man? We're off to the races over here. And with the Palantir earnings getting digested, we may have some more action here. Now, it doesn't mean that we're out of the woods yet, but today was, out of all the scenarios I had put in my head today, that was, I thought the least likely was to actually gap up and trend the whole fucking day. Sorry for the swearing. So, it's Monday. only Kunal swears on Mondays. So let's get into, the watch list. I don't think there's too much to say here on the indexes. The SPY remounted too. The IWM had a big remount of the 200-day moving average, filled its gap. 2.5% today. That's what you want to see. You want to see Uncle Russ, and you want to see, Cousin Nazi leading the way. And that's what we saw. Like when the Russell 2000, the IWM is up the most out of the group, that's a good thing. That tells you that there's some spec action going. And I think we have to be mindful of that. Now, while we're digging through all of this, let's, take a look at the watch list. First of all, the Palantir earnings are going to be the key. This is the hot momentum stock of the last year and some change. The earnings were a blowout again. Every time people think okay, how much more can they grow and whatever, I think they they had EPS growth and revenue growth of 50%, 90% separately on those. And obviously it's still a very expensive stock. Their revenue was $1 billion, but market cap's at $400 billion. Go figure. But it's the poster child for AI after NVIDIA. You got to respect it. Got to respect the thunder, man. No hate on this. The trend is the trend. If this holds up, obviously the market's probably flying tomorrow, and we've got to just go and we got to play it. Beyond that, my thinking was that, when you see stocks like Joby just rip, dude, they bought a $300 million helicopter company in New York, right? And it ripped at 20 fucking percent. That's that's a strong market right there, right? Something like this W, it gaps up, it pulls back to the 90, made nice fucking trend on it. Sorry for the swearing. It's got just a great look on this. I think both Joby, W, Palantir, we want to put on the watch list for tomorrow. I think Galaxy looks fantastic, right? Out of all these treasury plays, I don't think any of them look good, but this one looks good. SBET looks like crap. BMNR looks terrible, right? They all look really, really bad, but this one looks pretty good. So just be mindful of that. I think this has got a chance. So both of those, these are looking, fairly good. If you see the rest of them, they don't look very good, right? There's not much action here. They didn't hold any level of support, but Galaxy did. So keep an eye on that. You know what? I think for tomorrow, let's see. The Oclo fucking Nation. Hold on. Man, this thing's not letting me click anything. Hold on here. I think for tomorrow, we could get a little run on, if you look here. Hold on. There we go. If we go in, I think Affirm is looking pretty good for tomorrow. You got flat top breakout on this bad boy. Nice, easy squeezer. You don't have earnings for another month. Let's roll with that. APLD. after the big pop, a rest day. Dude, this thing takes out 14. I mean, we're in the boots and the coots, the butts and the cuts on this. Looks really good. OUST, I really wanted to hit this one for a swing, but the earnings are coming up. I just love the overall look of this. When you get these hot momentum stocks, dude, you don't get those 50 SMA tests very often, but the earnings are in a couple days. But it looks great for, like, you know, just a day trade up until the earnings. Palantir, we talked about. Oclo's right, you know, high tight flag here. I guess you can even call this a cup and handle, whatever you want to call it. It's a buenos. It's a muchos buenos, Morelius. You is another one that's got earnings out, but boy, that looks good, right? It's probably gonna pop on the earnings. You never know, right? But it's got that just sweet little flavor to it that looks really good. And then, man, I like this CRDL. This has been a big trender all year. Pop up, pull back into the bone zone. Nice trender on this. Like, keep that on the watch list. And then Hood. Look, it ripped under the MAs on earnings, and then it remounted back. If this has a weak open on it tomorrow, like, I think you got to hit this thing. Like, it's got the look. Anytime, like, they kind of bust under and then they re-push back through, I mean, that's like your telltale shakeout. I think that's a really, really good look. AMSC's had now 2 inside days from the earnings day. This is ripe to take out this 58. Dash looks great into earnings too, but you can't really do much if the earnings are coming up. And this LC, so this gap on earnings, big 10 million share volume, got 3-4 days consolidation. Just building out a little bit of a consolidation here. I think this thing is coiling up to make a secondary move. eBay took out its range here. And look, RKT had an inside day today. Let's see how this thing reacts around 1725. If it can break it, I mean, I think we're in for a good treat. So that's the list, guys. And then keep an eye on, any news plays, any catalyst plays, earnings plays. The spec money was going today. Let's see if it keeps up. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic as always, but I think that there was a lot of good things that happened today. So let's go shred tomorrow. I love you guys. Peace.